A deal gone wrong. Trump and Zelenskyy clash in Oval Office showdown. The Oval Office was the setting for a dramatic clash of personalities and political agendas. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy met with former U.S. President Donald Trump. The goal was to discuss a new minerals for security agreement and continued U.S. support for Ukraine. However, the meeting quickly devolved into a heated exchange, exposing deep divisions. Trump and his Vice President JD Vance accused Zelenskyy of being ungrateful and disrespectful. They also voiced concerns that Zelenskyy was not ready to pursue peace. This confrontation has sent shockwaves through the international community, raising questions about the future of U.S. Ukraine relations. At the heart of the disagreement was a proposed deal. Trump proposed that Ukraine trade access to its vast mineral resources in exchange for U.S. security guarantees. However, Zelenskyy was hesitant. He argued that the proposed deal lacked sufficient security guarantees to protect Ukraine from Russian aggression. The Ukrainian president emphasized the crucial role of continued U.S. support. He argued that Ukrainian soldiers were not just defending their homeland, but also the very principles of democracy and freedom in Europe. The meeting, initially intended to solidify the partnership between the two nations, laid bare the stark differences in their approaches to the ongoing conflict. Trump's emphasis on a transactional relationship with U.S. aid contingent on tangible returns contrasted sharply with Zelenskyy's pleas for unwavering support based on shared values and strategic interests. The clash unfolded against a backdrop of heightened tensions between the U.S. and Russia. This further complicates the geopolitical landscape and raises concerns about the trajectory of the conflict in Ukraine. The heated exchange in the Oval Office marked a turning point in U.S.-Ukraine relations. It exposed the fragility of the partnership and the challenges of navigating complex geopolitical interests. As the world grapples with the implications of this clash, one thing remains clear. The stakes are incredibly high and the path forward remains uncertain. Trump's explosive accusations and Zelenskyy's push for security. The Oval Office meeting was punctuated by Trump's assertive demeanor and pointed accusations. Raising his voice, Trump declared, "You're not winning this," implying that Ukraine's survival hinged solely on U.S. support. He accused Zelenskyy of disrespecting the U.S. and harboring a desire to perpetuate the conflict. Trump's rhetoric reflected his America First ideology. He placed American interests at the forefront, even if it meant questioning the motives and actions of a key ally. Zelenskyy, however, stood his ground. He expressed gratitude for U.S. assistance but remained firm in his demand for concrete security guarantees as part of any peace agreement. In a subsequent interview with Fox News, he defended his position, stating his hope for salvaging the relationship but refusing to offer an apology for his stance. He reiterated the need for continued U.S. support in the face of Russian aggression. The clash between the two leaders highlighted the complex dynamics of international relations, particularly in times of conflict. Trump's transactional approach, focused on measurable gains and losses, contrasted sharply with Zelenskyy's appeal for solidarity and unwavering support, based on shared values and strategic interests. The meeting exposed the fragility of alliances built on shifting sands of political expediency. The confrontation also underscored the deep-seated tensions between the desire for peace and the pursuit of strategic objectives. While both leaders publicly emphasized the need for a negotiated settlement, their actions and words revealed divergent views on the terms of such an agreement and the level of commitment required to achieve it. The meeting left many observers questioning whether a peaceful resolution could be reached without addressing the underlying geopolitical factors fueling the conflict. Fallout from the Oval Office, cancelled agreements and international reactions. The immediate aftermath of the Oval Office meeting was a flurry of cancellations and diplomatic scrambling. The planned press conference and the signing of a symbolic economic agreement were both abruptly cancelled. Zelenskyy left the White House earlier than anticipated, a visible sign of the meeting's sour turn. Despite the tensions, Zelenskyy later took to social media to express his gratitude to the American people for their support, attempting to salvage the image of unity. The international community reacted with a mix of concern and condemnation. European leaders, already unnerved by Trump's unpredictable foreign policy, issued strong statements of support for Ukraine and its sovereignty. They emphasized the importance of transatlantic unity in the face of Russian aggression. Russia, in a predictable move, celebrated the discord, interpreting Trump's actions as validation of their own stance on Ukraine. The abrupt cancellation of the planned agreement signaled a significant setback in U.S. Ukraine relations. It raised serious doubts about the future of bilateral cooperation and the Trump administration's commitment to supporting Ukraine in its ongoing conflict with Russia. The international community's reaction, particularly from European allies, reflected a growing unease with the unpredictable nature of U.S. foreign policy and its potential to destabilize an already fragile geopolitical landscape. The meeting's fallout had a ripple effect, impacting not just diplomatic relations but also the delicate balance of power in the region. The Kremlin's opportunistic response highlighted the potential for Russia to exploit any perceived cracks in Western unity, further jeopardizing Ukraine's security and raising concerns about a wider escalation of the conflict. The future of U.S.-Ukraine relations, a relationship in crisis? The Oval Office clash has cast a long shadow over the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations. Trump's open questioning of U.S. support for Ukraine, coupled with his transactional approach to foreign policy, has left many wondering about the durability of the partnership. This uncertainty comes at a critical juncture for Ukraine as it continues to grapple with Russian aggression and seeks to secure its place in the international community. Adding to the complexity is the issue of U.S. aid to Ukraine. The clash brought into sharp focus the substantial financial and military assistance the U.S. has provided to Ukraine over the past 3 years, totaling nearly $66 billion. Trump's emphasis on the cost of this support, particularly for American taxpayers, has fueled a debate about the extent to which the U.S. should continue to shoulder this burden. The tension surrounding U.S. aid to Ukraine highlights the difficult balancing act the U.S. faces in its foreign policy. On the one hand, there is a moral imperative to support a democratic nation under attack by an authoritarian power. On the other hand, there are legitimate concerns about the financial costs and the potential risks of entanglement in a protracted conflict. This debate is likely to intensify in the coming months and years as the situation in Ukraine evolves. The Oval Office clash served as a stark reminder that even long-standing alliances are not immune to the pressures of geopolitical realities and shifting domestic priorities. The future of U.S.-Ukraine relations will depend on the ability of both nations to navigate these complexities and find common ground. Failure to do so risks not only jeopardizing Ukraine's security but also undermining the broader Western alliance in the face of an increasingly assertive Russia.